Okay, so next is on control of breathing. How our body regulate the breathing. Okay, so breathing is an involuntary mechanism which involve negative feedback mechanism. Involuntary meaning that you are not required to remember that you are breathing or not. Okay, so you can forget to breathe. Okay, basically you are doing it without you knowing it. Okay, so this is to ensure the gas exchange is coordinated with blood circulation and with metabolic demand. Okay, so the one that controls the breathing is the medulla oblongata. Okay, which regulates the breathing. Okay, so the neural circuit in the medulla forms a pair of breathing control centers, or they are called the respiratory centers, which establish the breathing rhythm. Okay, so we have this specialized chemoreceptor, which is sensitive to carbon dioxide and hydrogen ion. Okay, so these central chemoreceptor in the medulla are sensitive to hydrogen ion, but not carbon dioxide. Whereas peripheral chemoreceptor is located at the wall of the aorta called the aortic bodies and the wall of the carotid arteries called the carotid bodies. These two are stimulated by a high partial pressure of carbon dioxide and proton or H plus concentration. So you have two receptors. Okay, central chemoreceptor, and then you have peripheral chemoreceptor. Okay, so we look at the first when the arterial partial pressure of carbon dioxide increase. Okay, some of the carbon dioxide diffuse into the cerebrospinal fluid. So this carbon dioxide will react with the water and will cause the increase of hydrogen ion, and therefore by increasing hydrogen ion this will cause a decrease in pH. Okay, higher proton or higher H plus, more acidic is the uh, environment. Okay, so the central chemoreceptor in the medulla will be stimulated by increasing H plus. Okay, so what happens is that impulses are sent to the respiratory center. Okay, because of this high H plus, they will send impulse. So the response is to increase the depth and rate of breathing rate to remove carbon dioxide until the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is lower. Okay, and thus the breathing rate returns to normal. Okay, so for example, uh, when we have a lot of carbon dioxide, or the pressure of carbon dioxide increases, such as in the case of wearing a mask. Okay, so what happens is that our central chemoreceptor will will detect this increase in H plus. Why? Because of this H plus when water combined with carbon dioxide to become carbonate bicarbonate ions and also H plus. Okay, so this will cause the person to increase the depth and rate of breathing. So you can, when we wear a mask, we will tend to breathe deeper and increase the rate of breathing. Okay, to remove the excess carbon dioxide. Okay, and then what happens when the partial pressure of carbon dioxide and H plus or proton concentration increase? They are detected by the peripheral chemoreceptor, which is the aortic bodies and the carotid bodies. Okay, so what happens is that impulses are sent to the respiratory center, Okay, and this will cause increase in depth and risk of breathing to remove carbon dioxide until the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is lower. Okay, and then breathing rate will return back to normal. So remember, we have central chemoreceptor and peripheral chemoreceptor. Okay, so first when after partial pressure carbon dioxide increase, another one is when we have both CO2 ratio and H plus concentration increase. Okay, so as a person breathe deeply, okay, a negative feedback mechanism prevents the lung from over expanding. So when we breathe deeply, okay, we are not able to over expand the lungs. Okay, so during inhalation, the sensor detects stretching of the lung tissues as stimulus. Okay, so the stimulus are sent in the form of impulses to the medulla, inhibiting further inhalation. So this is why when we breathe, we cannot overexpand our lungs. Okay, so these are the respiratory center located at the medulla oblongata. Okay, here. So this is the diagram or the flow of how our breathing rate affected by level of carbon dioxide. Okay, so the stimulus is the rising level of CO2 in tissues. Okay, they are detected by the carotid arteries or the carotid bodies. Okay, and the medulla detects a drop in the pH in the cerebrospinal fluid, CSF. Okay, they are coordinated by the medulla oblongata. Okay, so the response is the rib muscle and diaphragm. Okay, will increase the rate and depth of ventilation. So we will increase our breathing rate. Okay, at the depth of our breathing. So when we increase this rate, it will help to decrease the level of carbon dioxide back to a normal level, which is about pH 7.4. Alright.